Mark Losey. We're here at the Generations of Freestyle booth that I put together this year. The reason this happened is all because of Haro bikes. This is the 30th anniversary of the very first Haro Freestyler. This is the first freestyle frame ever made. So for the 30-year celebration of this, they said, well, we want to do something to celebrate not just Haro's history, but all of freestyle's history. So I got involved. I'm an old guy in the sport. I kind of know a lot of people, so I was able to call a lot of different people and say, hey, let's put together this cool history-type museum. And yeah, that's where we are. So this is where it all started. You know, they've got the remakes now, but this end cap is where freestyle BMX literally began. So kind of the foundation of the old school side, we call it, are these three bikes here: Diamondback Strike Zone, Hutch Trickstar, and this GT Performer. These are all heavyweights, if you wanted to call them, in the BMX history world. Cool thing about this is Eddie Fiola's actual frame that he rode in 1984 in the King of the Skate Parks contest. Eddie's a small guy. He ran the inch and 3/8 wheels. It's amazing. Everyone else looks at this and be like, I would destroy that bike, but worked for Eddie. He was the king. So these are Hoffman Patriot bars with a GT stem, but the history relevance there is, this is off Dennis McCoy's bike from like '93, and he was actually riding this setup when we shot the first double truck over a box jump at a show in San Jose, California. You know, he's riding hard during the show, but there was a bunch of old school guys at the show, and he wanted to impress Mutt, so he threw the bars twice. So there's a lot of iconic pieces you kind of hope to get for this thing, but this Hoffman bike with the motor, I must have emailed Matt 10 times and like, cool, we use it. Like, this is the most insane thing. If you're a bike rider, this is a weed whacker motor on the side of the frame. It's not balanced out correctly. This is 20 pounds on the left side. So Matt did this, duct taped everything to the frame, you know, made up its own mounts, and then did 22-foot airs on this thing. Like, this is the most insane thing that's ever happened in BMX in my opinion. And it can only come from Matt. Only Matt Hoffman would do this. You cannot name anyone else that would do this. So two of the kind of most iconic freestyle photos from the mid-90s or early 90s, mid-90s was Vic Murphy one-footed table. So that one on the cover, and then inside that issue of Ride, he had the one-foot table off the curb. Everyone still talks about those photos, and this is the actual frame that Vic was riding in those photos. So a lot of people didn't keep history, but it was really rad that Vic held on to this and let us borrow it for the show. One really cool thing is that this is a Dirt Bros frame, but it's actually a Skyway TA. Vic was calling around talking about, thinking about making his own bikes. Skyway had a bunch of these in stock, so he bought 50 of these from Skyway for $35 each. Then he bought a bunch of forks from Redline for I think $30 each, and that's how Dirt Brothers started. So this is a Schwinn Blue Falcon frame. Schwinn actually didn't really have any of these, in their history archives, whatever. But Kevin Dana at Giant, he actually had one, so he let us borrow it. A lot of this, it's a freestyle booth. Kind of looks like a race frame, but BF was that guy that he was both. Like he even said this is like a bipolar frame. He was like, am I a racer that jumps? Am I a jumper that races? So it's just really cool. We asked him, when you look at it now, what do you think? And he's like, why is that down tube so fat? And his best quote was like, if kids tried to manual this thing today, they'd get back spasms. So just cool to see how things have changed. So up here we have Dig Issue 1. That Dig 1 and Ride 1, to me those are really, really important. In the early 90s, freestyle was dead, but Will Smith, he didn't live in Southern California where you thought you needed to make a magazine. No, he lived in Ireland. He said, I'm going to make a magazine and it's going to work, and it did. It's rad to see. This is issue 1, and now the Legends issue 90 just came out. So it's just rad to see that it doesn't matter where you're from, you love BMX, you put your heart into it, you can make it work anywhere. So that's a look at the Generations Freestyle booth. Hopefully we get to do this again. It's pretty psyched to play with the old toys.